An emotional affair. The prologue. Lola was home alone again. It was 10 p.m. at night and Bolu was not yet home from work. The food she had prepared for dinner at 8 o'clock was well and truly cold by now. At 9, she'd given up the wait and decided to have her dinner all by herself. She had become used to this nightly ritual after 3 years of marriage. She had always known her husband to be hardworking, but at least when they were dating, he had made the efforts to take her out or spend time with her at home. She would never have guessed that her years of marriage would be the loneliest of her life. From the moment they got back from their honeymoon, work became top priority for him. Sometimes she wondered why he had even bothered to marry her. Was it a maid he wanted? A housekeeper? Was his family on his case about settling down? Did he even love her? These were her usual thoughts, night after night, as she fought the voice in her head telling her that she wasn't loved, that she had been deceived to have married Bolu Adetayo. With a sigh, she got up from the sofa and switched off the television. She looked at her phone, no missed call. She considered calling to check on him, but she was sure she knew what he would say. Just rounding up, love, we'll be home in a flash, or something to that effect. She was tired of nagging him about never calling or texting, and she'd long past given up feeling concerned about his well-being and worrying maybe something bad had happened to him. Reluctantly, she did the least she could do and sent him a text message. I'm off to bed now, hon. Your dinner is in the microwave. I hope all's good. Come home safe. As she finished the message, she went to the dining room to clear the table and stored the excess food in the fridge. She trotted along to the bathroom to prepare for bed. It had been a long day. Fortunately, tomorrow is Friday, so it should be a shorter day at the office, as most people close early to start the weekend well. She used to hang out with her single friends every Friday night, even when she was newly married. But all of them had married now, and most had moved away. Only 2 of her close friends stayed in Lagos, and only one of them, Temi, was on the island. They rarely met up because Temi had just had twins and has been tied up ever since. She made a note to pay her a visit on Saturday. The twins must be 6 months by now, she thought. Bolu and Lola had spent their first 2 years trying for a baby to no avail. They decided to take the pressure off for a while, but it was turning out to be a rather long while. She wondered if they had even had sex this month. The thought of their sex life always made her sad. They didn't seem to have much chemistry in bed, and since they kept sex for after marriage, she had not been able to factor that into the equation when making her decision to say yes. She had believed he was a good man who feared God and who loved her, and she had loved him too. But the sex? She didn't understand it. She thought maybe they just needed practice, and their many attempts at making a baby gave them plenty of practice, but still, it wasn't getting any better. Bolu didn't seem to have a problem though. He always came without much delay, so maybe she was the problem. She wasn't experienced, so she didn't have much to compare it to. The thought never crossed her mind that he could be having an affair. She honestly didn't think he was that kind of a man. But then, with his frequent late nights, it wouldn't be hard for him to pull it off, she thought, with a shudder. She checked her phone again. No missed call from Bolu. No text message. It was now 10:30 p.m. Nothing out of the ordinary. She got into bed and switched off the lights. As she said her prayers, sleep intervened and she was gone for the night. Bolu saw Lola's message at 10:35 p.m. and cursed under his breath. He had done it again and forgotten to call Lola. Knowing her, she would be sleeping by now. He would have to make it up to her. All his hard work was just about to pay off. He had been assigned lead chair on one of the biggest cases of his firm's history, and he just knew the opening for senior partner Crown Legal would be his. Once he had secured his promotion, he could take Lola on a romantic trip to celebrate. He had several weeks of holidays saved up, and he had been browsing holiday brochures in search of the perfect getaway for a second honeymoon. He quite fancied the idea of traveling to Jamaica or any of the Caribbean islands. Lola had been really understanding of his demanding work, and he'd always loved that about her. He wanted to get on top of his work to secure this promotion so that they can have the better life he had always wanted for his family. He wasn't born with a silver spoon, and he had always worked hard for every break he had ever gotten. And things have worked out well, even with the baby delaying. At least he didn't feel like he was missing out on that too. It was sort of good that it was just them for now. When things are more stable, he believed that they will be blessed with the addition to their family they both longed and prayed for. He smiled at the thought. Bolu quickly rounded off his work. He had dismissed his secretary at 9 p.m. and was the last to leave the office again. The security guard was on ground to open the gates and secured the compound after he drove out of the parking lot in his Honda Civic. At 11 p.m., the road home should be free. He'd be home in 10 minutes and in bed by 11:30 p.m. He wondered what scrumptious meal Lola had prepared tonight. She was quite the cook, and he was starved. He never remembered to eat at work. He didn't like to eat food outside, and he had consumed the tuna and mayo sandwich Lola had packed for his breakfast at 12 o'clock midday. The traffic lights on Ozumba and Badaway were off tonight, a common occurrence which required more attentiveness and patience at the various intersections along the major road. He had had a couple of close calls on that road with some reckless drivers who dived from the side roads into the main road without much consideration for others. Bolu stole a second glance into the side road before proceeding towards the Lekki toll gate. Assured that all was clear, he continued on, only to slam on his brakes as a black Toyota crossed his path at high speed. As the vehicles collided, Bolu's first thought was of his beautiful wife. He wondered if he would ever see her again. He soon passed out from the impact. To be continued.